Righto, so today I've got my 2003 Hilux. The harmonic balance has slipped, so today I'm gonna replace it and yeah, just show you guys how to do it. Righto, so this is it here. The motor is a 3RZ FE, just the 4-cylinder 2.7 litre. Don't know how well you can see in there, but the harmonic balance right at the very bottom. It has two parts to it and has a bit of a rubber joiner between the pulley and the actual balance, and it's separated 370,000 Ks, and this thing's finally let go. So it just makes a bit of a squeak. Which, apart from being annoying, no good. So, harmonic balance is right at the very bottom down there on the main crank pulley. So we'll rip him off. First of all, we're going to rip the radiator out, take the fan, get a bit of access in there so you can get the puller on it, and yeah, hopefully the main oil seal's in one piece. It's obviously never been replaced as the balance has never come off. Cool, so now that we've got the car jacked, underneath here there's a bit of a bash plate, or being plastic, it's probably more just like a splash guard. So we'll start with ripping that off to get access underneath. We'll also just start tagging this off. Cool, so can we see that bit's the harmonic balance? Get out of the way. And as you can see, if I can move it, the inside of it's let go. So that's the issue, that's what we're going to pull off. So we'll start with draining the radiator. Righto. So, because I enjoy a nice, clean and dry garage floor, I'm just gonna drain it through the little drain. You can pull the bottom radiator hose off it. Ooh, that's not very good. It makes it a little bit easier and a lot quicker. Alright, so while that's still draining, I've loosened off the 3 fan belts. So we got the tensioner on the alternator. There's a tensioner up the top here, which is for the power steering pump. And then there's another one down the bottom. Can't really see. Alright, again, in there. Sure it's got focus. Yep. Which tensions the aircon compressor. Cool. Alright, well, looks like that's pretty much finished draining. So we'll take a couple of lines. There's a, looks like a, because it's automatic, looks like there's a cooler or a line for a cooler underneath there. So we'll do that. The reservoir, I pulled the top radiator hose off, so we'll pull the bottom one off. Get the shroud out the way, take the fan off. If we can get in there now, I'll take the fan off, get the fan, the shroud, and then pull the radiator out. And that'll give us, should hopefully give us access to the harmonic balance. And with the amount of oil
residue and dirt and stuff underneath, it does look like that front main oil seal has probably, it's stuffed. So probably have to go get one of those as well. So keep going.
To the compressor, it's out of the way. This fan belt. Try and get into that fan. They spanner, and then there's a couple of bolts or little screws down there. There's another one down further and two on the other side. So you take those 4 screws off, and the fan and the shroud should come out in one piece, or as 2 pieces but together. Now pop that bottom radiator hose, the line for the oil cooler or the transmission cooler. Go from there. tensioner that just slides up and down on a bolt. Back to this, get that tensioner off. So back to this, trying to get this fan and hub off. Bigger screwdriver. That's how you do it. one nut cracked. Next one. Biggest screwdriver. Big yellow. Oh man, far out. That is ridiculous. That is so down tight. That is just crazy. Catching. Oh, number 4. Right. Right, that's one. See how far I can push back this shroud. I might pull the radiator out before I pull the fan and the shroud out. Might be a little bit easier. So all the shroud does is, I guess, directs, because the fan sucks the air through the radiator, and the shroud just kind of directs it, so it's has more of an effect, keeps the car nice and cool. Yeah, sweet. I reckon I'll, ooh, looks like we might have a radiator leak. Not good. Right. That's the last thing I want right now. Yeah, we're gonna need a radiator. Far out. Oh man, really? Not good. Just going to go undo the bloody anchor point for it. And it's just crack. Hello, someone's home. Righto, so the top of the radiator cracked. There's the plug hole. Lovely. Go back in. Oh, that is actually about as annoying as it gets. Oh. That is so annoying. Over here, that's one of the lines for the transmission cooler. Never been taken off in, how old is this thing? 16 years. So that's what's come out of the gearbox, out of the radiator. Definitely got a nice little mixture going on in there.
Right, so I've just pulled the front grille off. As I said, we're going to keep going. See what we can do. So there's a bolt here, down in there, and the same on the other side, which
Releases this bracket, because as you can see, it sort of bulges round one of the parts in the radiator where the plastic joints the actual core.
So we'll loosen those off, and yeah, that'll be able to get the radiator out. Righto, so I've got the radiator out, all the belts, the fan and viscous hub.
Righto, and see, this was the original issue.
Righto, so yesterday on the Hilux repairs, we got the radiator out, and what I thought was a bit of oil in the coolant turned out to be, I did a bit of research, and yeah, it turned out that the radiators actually have like a secondary internal cooler for the transmission. So yeah, it turns out that it's still alive. So we're gonna do a bit more on it today. This is yeah, day 2. Yesterday I only did a couple of hours on it. Yeah, so got most of the teardown done. So today I might get the harmonic balance off. We'll get on to swapping that out. Does need a little bit of a clean up in there. And yeah, keep going. Righto, so I've just picked up this little kit from Repco. It's a harmonic balance puller. So you got your centerpiece, the yoke, and all your bolts that you screw onto the balance to pull it off. So I'll give it a crack. Never used one of these ones before, so we'll see how it goes.
Righto, so being the auto, obviously you can't have it in gear as the same as you would with a manual. So I just watched a bit of YouTube, ironically, and one of the guys I watched said to pull the number 1 spark plug out, put it to bottom, number 1 for bottom dead center, and load the first cylinder up with rope, so that when you turn it, it'll come up, compress. So yeah, other than that, it's a specialty tool, which if this doesn't work, I'll have to make something up to be able just to crack that bottom bolt. Yeah, so until then, we'll give this rope trick in the first cylinder a crack and see how it goes. Righto, so mind blown. Got the rope in there, managed to crack it off. That's a pretty cool trick. Just pull that bolt out. Now, finally, can get on to removing this pulley. I can't believe that actually worked. Cool. Ooh. Oh, righto. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. She's pretty loose. Oh, looks like I might have to change that front seal as well. It's yeah, quite lubricated. It's cool. Righto. I still can't believe that worked. Wow. Alright. So there's the front of the crank. Very, very dirty in here. It's 16 years worth of dirt and grime in here. It's filthy. So there we go. We didn't even have to use the puller. How cool is that? Righto, so the front main oil seal there looks to be in pretty good nick. So I'll just leave that one. So now it's time to put the new balance on and tighten him up. and remove that rope. Righto, so we'll slip that new balance on. Should have a keyway in there somewhere. So it's got the keyway. Slip that on. Look where that keyway is. There it is. Righto. Tap on. Bolt back on. And time to do it up. Alright. Grab the brake for the extension. Or a bit of 50mm pipe. Cool. Back it off and pull out my rope. Righto, so we got it all tightened up. Pull this rope out. Get rid of that. Put the spark plug back in. Pull it. And quarter turn. That'll do. Lead back in. Click. Get on there. Righto. So it leads all back in, righto. So now we'll put the two other pulley pieces on the balance. They're just on the toolbox there. Bolts are with them. So put that on. And then from there it's ready to put the radiator back in, put the fan on, belts on, top up, and then oh actually while we've got the radiator out and everything, we're going to do the thermostat. It should be in the housing there. If not, then it will be on. Yeah, it should be in that pipe. Generally they're on the exit of the block. So, righto, go from there. Righto, so now the balance is on, harmonic balance. We're going to put the other pulleys on, which come off prior.
Alright, so from here we're going to rip the thermostat off, which hopefully should be in there. We'll start by moving the pipe. Multi-grips are going to be easier. Shouldn't have any coolant. Ugh, come off. Oh, it's pretty nasty. That's gross. Righto. Now 12 mil. Oh, it is. Beautiful. I didn't need that finger. A little bit of coolant come out. Cool. Oh, there it goes. Cool, so that's the old one, and that's the new one. I've just put the new seal on it. Well, the old seal's still in it. It's in pretty good nick. So the thing with the thermostats is they open and close at different temperatures. Well, these two are the same. It's 82 degrees. I don't know if that'll focus. Not really. Cool, so it tells you what temperature it should open up at. So we'll just pop that in. Righto, so I've just put a little bit of the blue former gasket on that. I'll put that in place. The former gasket is probably a little bit unnecessary because the seal around the thermostat should seal it. Better safe than sorry. If you do put the blue sealant on, you don't want to put too much on, as it'll seal in the actual thermostat itself. All you want to do is just seal the outer housing, just keep the water inside. Alright, let's put the hose back on.
Samaung. Righto. Horse grips, horse grips. Where put my horse grips? Oh man. They're right on the floor next to me. Push them up. Righto. A little bit. Cool, nice and tight.
Righto, so change the thermostat now, so we're gonna start putting everything back together. So we'll start with swapping over those oil lines for the cooler, the transmission. And then we can put the radiator in. Pretty cool, these OEX radiators from from Repco. Come with new brackets. I changed one in my Land Cruiser not too long ago, and it came with new brackets as well, which is pretty cool. Save you using the old stuff. Yeah, do that. Alright, so I'll just put it back on the stands, give me a little bit more access underneath. And yeah, so we'll get back into putting everything back together. So yeah, just have a look. Everything underneath seems to be pretty intact, so we'll rip open this box. Cool. As we're putting this in, we'll try not to knock any fins or anything. Do them up. Righto, so just here we got some new radiator transmission hose. So I was gonna quickly replace those two lines that came out. They go from a rubber flex line to hard line, and then that's it. Yeah, hard line into the gearbox. I'm gonna yeah, so quickly just slip that on and measure it. Got the old trusty Leatherman. Just cut and mark. Sweet. And some new clamps, apparently. So slip 4 of, 2 on each. Get a real screwdriver. Cool, so that's 2 fresh transmission cooler lines. Chuck the bottom radiator hose on while we're here. That's pretty much everything down here until we come to the belt tensioner, which is pretty much going to be last before we top up the coolant and the transmission fluid. Righto, so from here we'll drop the fan in with the shroud. Can't forget that. Right, in my bag of goodies as well, I got 3 drive belts, doesn't say which one's which, but you should be able to figure him out. The thicker one is going to be for the harmonic balance, which drives the fan or the water pump and the alternator. So we'll start with that one. Righto, so I've tensioned up that bottom aircon belt. Now I'm just going to put this other tensioner back on for the power steering pump. So I've made up this filler sort of thing out of the old radiator cap, because I've got a new one. I'm going to use that and put that on once everything's done. So I just drilled the top out of it, and I've just glued a empty old water bottle onto the top, cut the top off. So now I'll fill it up with water, put some flush through it, run it for a bit, drain it again, and it'll be good to fill back up with coolant. I haven't used this, I've just made it. So I don't know if it leaks, hopefully it doesn't, so we'll give it a crack, see how it goes.
Righto, so start it up. Fans on. Definitely a neutral, handbrake is already on. Whoa. The squeak's gone. How good is that? It's like new. And as you can see, the starting to bleed off a bit more.
Righto, so it's been running for just over 10 minutes and it's nice and hot. There's no more air coming out of it, so we're gonna let it cool, and from there drain it and fill it back up with actual coolant, and it'll be good to go. I'll just check the oil level and the transmission fluid level, and good to go.